The New York Rangers defeat the New Jersey Devils 4-3 in overtime. This was a game where I thought the Devils were the better team, but the Rangers found a way. This was a comeback win. The Rangers trailed by two twice. They were down 2-0. They were also down 3-1. And there was a key sequence in the second period where Jack Hughes has a chance to give the Devils a 3-goal lead on a penalty shot. Sturkin stops him. Rangers then score a power play goal, and then 7 seconds later score again to tie it up. And then Filip Chytil is your hero. Chytil wins it in overtime at the 2:15 mark. And even in overtime, the Devils had puck possession basically for the first 2 minutes. But Chytil is able to score past Vitek Vanacek. And this ends the Devil road win streak at 11. Devils were one win away from tying the record with two other teams. So they were very close to 12, but couldn't quite get there. And for the Devils, I think they probably come away from that game thinking that they should have won. Didn't happen. And for the Rangers, it's weird. It's like there was a lot of games Rangers played earlier in the season where they played well and lost, and now it seems like lately the Rangers are now on a 4-game winning streak, and I don't think that they've necessarily played all that well, but they're finding ways to win now. And that's kind of what I've been asking for, is just finding ways to win. They're doing that. And, it's a win that you should, against the Devils, against a rival who's been playing really well, you should be happy about it. But also know that, the Devils were the much faster team. They are a very, very quick team. But the Rangers were able to kind of, I felt like in each period, the Devils, like if you kind of look at it in halves, I thought the Devils really severely outplayed the Rangers for the first half of each period. But then the Rangers found their game, for all of those three periods. The second halves, they were able to play well and to hang in there. But yeah, like this came close to feeling like the last game against the Devils. Now it's funny, in both instances, the team that led 2-0 and early lost the game. Rangers had a 2-0 lead very early the last time they played the Devils, and they lost. And here, Devils take a 2-0 lead, and they lose as well. So the Rangers returning the favor, although the Devils do get a point in this one. So New Jersey's record drops to 21-5-2. I mean, they have been amazing this season. But a really key 2 points for the Rangers. And we saw some line juggling as well. As far as the lineup, it was the same as it's been, meaning no Vitaly Kravtsov. And to me, it's still unfortunate that he's not going to be in the lineup. I just think it doesn't help his development at all to continue to sit. I believe there are players in the lineup that you could sit, and it wouldn't really be like a huge deal. But I would expect, you'd like to think after the next loss that he would be right in there immediately, but it really shouldn't even work like that anyway. But the Kravtsov conversation is for another day. The lines were the same until they weren't. Now let's discuss the game. Jacob Trouba had a really rough one. Again, and I think he's been coming around a little bit lately, but for Trouba, a lot of bad turnovers. And Trouba has a bad turnover, but luckily Shesterkin, I forget what the outcome. I think it was a Shesterkin save. Either way, it ends up in an offensive zone faceoff for New Jersey after the Trouba turnover. That it was an egregious turnover. Well, another Zibanejad lost faceoff, like we saw against Colorado, ends up with a goal in the Rangers' net. And I thought Shesterkin played really well. Tonight, if there's one goal that maybe went out back, it's this one. Nico Hischier scores his 13th goal of the season from Siegenthaler at 3:05. Now, it was a deflection. Siegenthaler with the shot from the point, deflected by Hischier up top. But I think Shesterkin, he just wasn't ready for it. It didn't look good from his, just optically. It felt like maybe that was a puck that could have been stopped. But either way, a horrendous Trouba turnover set this whole thing into motion, and the Rangers lose a faceoff, and the Devils take a 1-0 lead. Then New Jersey takes a 2-0 lead after another bad turnover by Jacob Trouba. And he wasn't alone. The puck management was horrendous in the first period. The Rangers turned the puck over like crazy. I mean, Chris Kreider had one that comes to mind, and there were others. It was really bad. And Dawson Mercer scores his 8th goal of the season. And so just like that, less than 5 minutes in, the Devils have a 2-0 lead. For the Rangers, really ugly, and lines and D pairs were switched. So defensively, Miller with Schneider, Hayek with Trouba. The one unfortunate caveat I'll say about this is at the end of the game, you still do see Gallant go back to Miller Trouba. So as much as I like it, Like, I'm not sold that it sticks. But speaking about Braden Schneider has really been playing very well lately, and I am totally fine. If they want to go with Miller and Schneider, I'm all for it. Because on the flip side, Hayek Truba, I mean, Libor Hayek has not been very good. Hayek has been playing like shit. In fact, he takes a penalty later in the game. But I just feel like he hasn't been very good. I've always felt this way, and he is what he at best will be a third pair defenseman in the NHL. So that was a switch. Another switch that was made on the forward lines was they went with the kid line, and it was basically Zibanejad and Chytil. They reversed them. So Zibanejad centers Panarin and Goodrow, and Chytil centers Lafreniere and Kakko. And that's all right. I just want the kid line to get iced. Like, if you're going to do that and make that move, then you better give the kids a fair share of ice time. And it better be, don't treat them like the third line. Treat them like one of the top lines. And I don't know if you'll get that. And I just don't know if Panarin, Zibanejad, Goodrow works. I really don't. Like, that's where I'd be curious to see how Kravtsov would look with that line and not Goodrow. Then it gets a little bit interesting. Then it's like, whoa, defensively you might have some struggles, but that could really be a dynamic offensive line. But Goodrow kind of ruins that a little bit there. So that was a switch that was made, and I have a feeling that will stand. I have a feeling that those will be the lines that you see against Toronto on Thursday. Same with the D pairs. I think that might stick too. But Trouba really, really brutal, and the Devils take a 2-0 lead. There were coincidental penalties, Jimmy Vesey and Damon Severson at 13:39, roughing penalties. But the Rangers score a really big goal towards the end of the first period. It's Chris Kreider, his 14th of the season from Trocheck and Vesey. So that line stayed together. And it was a nice pass by Vesey, setting up a 2-on-1. Trocheck pass to Kreider, one-timer goal past Vanacek. And that was really big. But it didn't really seem to matter as the Devils came out with jump in the second period. It didn't really matter. It didn't carry over into the second period. Hayek takes, but there was some good in it early on. Hayek takes holding penalty. Rangers kill it off, and then they get a power play and had a lot of chances. It was a penalty on Eric Haula at 8:07. So after a good job by the PK, the Rangers power play had a lot of chances but could not score. And then unfortunately, on an odd-man rush, Jack Hughes gives the Devils that 2-goal lead back. His 15th goal of the season from Mercer and Hamilton, 3-1 Devils. And then a penalty shot at 12:50. Braden Schneider takes down Jack Hughes, and Shesterkin is up for the challenge. Hughes, probably should have had a better attempt, didn't. And if Hughes scores there, then, it would have been really difficult to come back. But it stays 3-1. Then Barclay Goodrow draws a penalty. Siegenthaler is called for interference at 13:27, and this time the power play does convert, and it's Trocheck. Trocheck scores his 10th goal of the season on the shot by Fox. Zibanejad with the other assist. And at 13:58, the Rangers are down by 1. And then 7 seconds later, off the faceoff, the kid line plus Keandre Miller. Miller makes a really nice play, actually. Finds Kakko, and he buries it. Ties the game up. So in 7 seconds, the Rangers score 2 goals. It's Kakko's 6th goal of the season from Miller and Chytil. And the crowd's going crazy. But the Rangers had to kill off one more penalty. Brodzinski trips Michael McLeod, but the Rangers penalty kill does a nice job. And so the game is tied going to third, and that's Ranger hockey. Really, for most of the Ranger games this season, it is tied going to the third, just the way it is. The Ranger games have been close this season. And the third period sometimes leads to, the Rangers doing really well, or, when things weren't going well, they find a way to lose. But I thought the Devils were the better team in the third. Rangers kind of found their game as it went on. We go to overtime. And it's Zibanejad, Kreider, Fox. Bad job. I guess I'd blame Zibanejad for losing possession. And so from there, the Devils are controlling the puck. Shesterkin had to make a nice save. And Keandre Miller was on the ice, and Panarin, and then Chytil replaced Trocheck. And so Panarin makes a really nice play, back pass to Chytil, and he scores. Overtime winning goal for Filip Chytil. It is Chytil's 6th goal of the season from Panarin and Miller. So the kids, Keandre Miller with a couple assists. Like I said, Braden Schneider was really good. Kakko with a goal Filip Chytil with a goal and an assist. It was just nice to see. I thought the kids really played were a huge impact. And as well, Vinny Trocheck. I think Trocheck was really good in this game as well. He, with that nice setup to Kreider, and then he had that power play goal. So Trocheck deserves props as well. And of course, he's Igor Shesterkin. Shesterkin on the night makes 25 saves. The biggest one really on that penalty shot was really, really important. But Igor, even though the stat line doesn't look good, I thought he really kept them in it. And if you're a Devil fan, Vanacek, in thinking about the goals, really the only one I think that maybe it was the Chytil overtime goal. Nice shot, but maybe if Vanacek's angle was a little better, he stops it off. But hey, off the bar and in. So it was really a very good shot by Filip Chytil. And I just like how he's been playing. I think like you forget about Filip Chytil. Everyone talks about Kakko and Lafreniere having been like top picks. Filip Chytil also a first round pick, but he kind of gets forgotten about when you think about. I mean, he's still very young, and Chytil is really turning into a very good player. It takes some time, but Chytil, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points in 22 games, and a +8. Like, he is just got speed, not afraid to shoot the puck. He's really turning into a very nice player for the New York Rangers. For him, it's just about staying healthy. So now the Rangers will face the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are playing very well. And Toronto, they will play tomorrow at home against the Anaheim Ducks. That's a pretty favorable matchup for them. So if Toronto wins that, let's just say, they will really, really be running high. If they win, they'll be, right now, they're 18-5-6. And right now, they're on a 3-game winning streak. They're 8-0-2 in their last 10. Like, they are one of the hottest teams in hockey. So that'll be another really tough test. Rangers can win that one. Then I'm really feeling good about things. That's the Maple Leafs. This is a team that, they really, what's been defensively and their goaltending has been really good. This is, one of the stingier teams to play against. You think about Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares, so on and so forth. Like, they have that in them, but really they've not. The thing with them is they have not been allowing goals. And so I'm interested in seeing how the Rangers do. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They can't let up, though, because, again, like that 60-minute effort still isn't there. The first period was completely unacceptable, and you're not always going to come back from that, but the Rangers do. And so for that, I'm happy. They beat the Devils. They prevent the Devils from tying an NHL record. So it's always good to stop them from doing that, get the Devils off their high horse a little bit. But Rangers with a fun win. Let's see what they can do. The Rangers win this one 4-3 in overtime on a game-winning goal by Filip Chytil. And then next will be a Thursday night game at MSG against the Toronto Maple Leafs.